Bam! Awesome Mayo here with today's WBE lesson. Little things matter. Become an artist with everything that you do. No task is meaningless or so insignificant that you should allow for anything other than an obsessive attention to detail. The ripple effect of what you do or what you fail to do reaches far beyond our vision. Maximize the role that you play in advancing mankind. Anybody can do things that people think matter. The genius is in making whatever you do matter. Now today's gonna be a little different than usual. I used to deliver ads to grocery stores. The ads you see right when you walk in to go shopping at a grocery store, those ads they have right at the door, I used to deliver those ads, and when I bring them up to the store, I tossed the bundles into the cart. I didn't really care how it looked. It was pretty unorganized, but I just threw the bundles in and then I would wheel the cart into the store. I would throw the bundles into the cart and then I would wheel the cart into the store. One day, I was doing the route with my aunt, the crazy awesome aunt, who's I've talked about many times, and when she saw the sloppy way that I threw the ads into the cart, she stopped me. She fixed each bundle and she put them face up with the labels facing outward so it would be easy to read and count, and she made this cart full of ads look so nice and so proper and so neat. And then right before she wheeled it in, she said something to me that I always remember. She said, "Awesome, little things matter." I always remember that. And she went on to tell me that a struggling family who's fighting to make ends meet could use a single coupon or a single special or a single discount that they found in these ads, and because of that single little benefit, a hungry child could get an extra meal. And since I could be a part of that, and I was a part of that, I should take everything that I was doing more seriously. And I'll tell you, I never looked at delivering ads the same again. And that little things matter obsession, that spread to everything that we were doing. Pretty soon we were measuring foot traffic within the stores. We were getting feedback from the managers of the stores and experimenting the best placement of the ads within the store, the best products to put on the ads, what each store's clientele responded the best to. And when we had one store that was doing really well, we would share the results and the practices with the other stores and the other managers. We even worked with the newspaper's design team to help them make better and more specific flyers and ads and specials for different stores in different areas. We went crazy. That's my point. We went totally nuts. Little things matter. With this little obsession, that's how we approached what we were doing. And my aunt showed me how much more we could be than just the people who deliver ads. And it was because of that obsession, that attention to detail, because of making sure that little things mattered. Because of that, we eventually delivered ads for more than just one store, more than just a few stores. And at one point, we were handling ads for nearly every single grocery store in the entire Midwest of America. Little things matter. John Rockefeller once said that a friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. Actually, I said it, then he stole it from me. What the heck's John? But that is so true. And it's a rule, it's a lesson that I follow. Our core team, my closest friends, are all friends that I've made through business and friends that I'm in business with. So I've pretty much always followed that rule. But there have been a few exceptions. And one of those exceptions was a very good friend of mine named Sean Rooney. Now, during this time when I was delivering ads and things started getting so crazy, the business started going so fast, and I was friends with Sean at the time, and I brought him on to help handle things and to help grow the business. And one of the first nights we were out, he started throwing the ads in the cart just like I used to, and then I told him exactly what my aunt told me. Little things matter, and that we could play a much larger role in what was happening, and Sean never threw ads in the cart again. In fact, he took this little lesson to heart, and with everything he did, everything that we ever did in business, he did it with that as his mantra. Little things matter. Now I need to take a second and tell you a few things about Sean. He was a wild kid, man. This guy was a nut. He was kind of a nut. I love him dearly, but I'm not blind to his other side. Sean was the cool guy. All the guys loved him. He always got the girl. He was much cooler than me, much cooler than I ever was. And he was so much more cooler or well-liked or popular or whatever that it was kind of weird that we would even hang out. You know, usually social pressure discourages that kind of cross-pollinating of cool and uncool people. He was that much cooler than me. And like I said, he had a wild side, from drugs and parties and fist fights to getting arrested all the time. And actually, the first time I ever got a gun pulled on me, at least as an adult in America, I was with him. You know, I once had a cat. We once got a cat, and the cat was a total nut. It was so crazy, I named the cat Sean. We got the cat from a shelter. The cat would run away for months at a time. One time the cat came back with a bullet hole. A bullet hole. The cat had a bullet hole. And the craziest part was the way he looked. The look on his face. He was just like, what? You never been shot before? Like, he didn't even register that he had a bullet hole. But that's Sean, a cat with a bullet hole. He was a nut. But with me, it's weird. With me, he was a totally different person than he was with anybody else. And through him, I met some interesting people. And we would do our routes and work with some of these people. One night, I was out doing the route with Sean and one other thing I should say, he always loved to listen to NWA, the rap group NWA. He would blast that music so loud. He said it was his inspiration in life and it taught him how to live life. He loved NWA and he credited them. He gave them credit for changing his life. NWA. If you don't know who they are, you should look them up. And it's funny because to this day, whenever I see like a grocery store ad, or sometimes when I just see a grocery store, but definitely when I see the ads, it's like I can practically hear Dr. Dre and Ice Cube in my head. It's like I can still hear them yelling and explaining in great detail their apathy for law enforcement. And when I think back think back to doing the route with Sean. He had a friend, Greg, that I became friends with who did the route with us. And then there was another guy, Kyle. So me, Sean, Greg, and Kyle out doing the route. It was a great time. And I wouldn't have believed the storm that was coming. And by the end of the year, everybody else that was in that car with me would either be dead or missing. And it's so sad because Sean had real brilliance in him. He was psychotically driven and so ambitious that he took our delivery business to another level. In fact, one of the first gas stations that I ever bought, I bought with him. He and I bought it together, and we financed it. We financed the gas station with our delivery business. And this gas station, my goodness, this place was a mess. It was right off Michigan Road. The gas hardly ever worked. This place got robbed like every other night. Our employees were total crackheads. They used to sell crack while they were working. They did it so much, it's more like they were working while they were selling crack. This place was actually, it was more like a crack house with gas and candy. Sometimes gas, I should say, and sometimes candy. Maybe we didn't even have candy, but we always had crack. You could always count on that. But you know, it was when I would do stuff like that, it's like with Sean and I, when we were together, we would always figure something out. You know, one day he called me up and he told me we're going into the locksmith business. I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he told me that I was just getting into real estate, so I was dealing with tenant evictions and things like that. And he told me that there is a lot of demand in the area for a good locksmith to be on the prowl. So he got that big goofy machine and he started going around neighborhoods and doing jobs. And he had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea. He had no idea how to change a lock. So for the first job, he showed up just as clueless as the guy who called him. So just imagine this locksmith shows up and has no idea how to do his job. And that was so us. That's how we did everything at that time. That's the mode we were in. We just went out, we made people laugh and smile, and everything else would work itself out. And that's the mode we were in. That first day, I don't know how he did it. Somehow he got through it. And then from talking to people, he realized how important it was to keep the neighborhoods safe and to patrol the neighborhoods and keep in touch with the locals and help them stay away from the problems that deadbeat tenants cause. And eventually we started official patrols, and then we started DNA testing to settle the baby mama drama that was happening. And then we even got into private eye work to catch criminals and cheaters. And actually from that, Sean and I actually got work. We worked with the TV show Cheaters. We were even security guards for one of their shows when they were shooting one of their shows. We always had a blast. And one thing, it's like that Sun Tzu said, opportunities multiply when they're seized. We were seizing opportunities by the hair, grabbing them left and right. Sean was really ambitious. He was really a great guy. And this new business that he started, this new locksmith / baby daddy tester / neighborhood crime and infidelity watchdog, whatever you want to call it, that new business got us contracts from local cops. And soon it made us more money than the actual gas station. You get what I'm saying, right? You see how this works? You don't just go out and change someone's locks. You talk to them. You see about what they want to see, what else they want to see going on, what kind of changes they want to see happen in their neighborhoods, and the way that people treat each other, and the way that people view their neighborhoods, and how people are taking care of each other. What do they want to see happen, and how can we work together to make better things happen? It's simple to do. Little things matter. The way you do it. That's how the world's worst locksmith can change a community. And after this side business took off, Sean went around to other local gas stations, and we added this business model to their current business. And then we'd split the money with them. And then we took some extra money and we paid it to the gas stations to buy the gas stations. And really quickly, Sean added a handful of gas stations to our little empire. And when I bought that first place, a lot of people asked me what the hell I was thinking, but I knew that together with Sean, we'd figure something out. I knew he would do something amazing. I had always had faith in him. I always believed in him, and he would not let me down. That kid and he and I together, we could do anything. That was the way we approached every day. So we started with this one gas station that was a dump, and now look, we had this little chain of gas stations. It was really amazing how much he did and the difference that he made. Little things matter. Sean was brilliant. He was brilliant. He was a very good friend. But when he wasn't around me, he was around some very not nice people. And I still think I should have done more to put a stop to that, because one night I got the call that I dreaded. I wasn't that surprised, but I was still heartbroken. I still am heartbroken. At the age of 23, Sean Rooney died. Soon after that, our other friend Greg, he died too. And right after that, the fourth guy, Kyle, totally disappeared. Just totally, nobody knew what happened, where he was, nothing. And at Sean's funeral, when I talked about how amazing and how brilliant he was and all the things he was doing, so many people were so blown away because they had no idea that he was like that. But at least one guy did, his parole officer. And the next day I got a call from his parole officer. And after learning about all the amazing things that Sean was doing and the fact that Sean's money wasn't coming from drugs, the officer had Sean mentor other young people. And during that process, Sean actually had written a letter to explain how he was able to turn his life around, how he was able to do all these amazing things, even though he had on paper no real credentials, no education or anything like that. And that letter was written to me, but he never gave it to me. And the officer wanted to make sure that I got it. I'm not going to read the whole letter to you, but I'll read you part of the end of the letter. I'm going to read it to you now. And you should know, we all had nicknames. We always had nicknames for everything. Like, right, even to this day, whenever I get fat, I call my gut a flugen. Whenever anyone gets fat, all my friends, even to this day, I've spread it. We all call it a flugen. I don't know why. That's what he used to call it, a flugen. It's like, I think it's German for airplane or something, or plane. Flugen. It just sounds funny. But one of the things he used to call me, one of his names for me was Blossom, like the old TV show Blossom. He thought my name sounded like hers. So here's It's kind of weird reading it to all of you, but here is part of Sean's letter. I'm going to read it to you now. Here it is. It's crazy because I always thought I was better than all the stuff that crazy because I'm already screwing it up. Let me start over again. It's weird reading it to you. Okay, it's crazy because I always thought that I was better than all of the stuff that I was doing, but it wasn't until I met you that I realized a way that I could be a better person. It's like you could see a better person in me that nobody else could or wanted to see, and it turned me into a different person, a better person. And when people ask me how I'm able to do all of this, I always say the same thing. We've been able to build this thing because now with everything that I do, whenever I do anything, I always remember those 3 words. Little things matter. What I'm saying, Blossom, is that you were my NWA. It's weird reading it to you. I've never looked at NWA the same since. And reading it to you now, it's like I've gone over it so many times in my head and reading it out loud now. But Sean first was my aunt, and then Sean really showed me. He personified little things matter in that lesson. And it's why to this day, you'll never find a student that I've ever worked with or a client that I've ever served. Nobody will ever say that I did not do what I said I would. Everything from the way I always make myself available and I walk everybody through every step. If I work with a student, I agree to work with a student, they're blown away by my inhuman patience. That's what it's been called. And how much I care and love and want to see them, need to see them make things happen. Doesn't matter how much time it takes to explain everything, make sure they understand it, every step. It's that obsession, right? Little things matter. Every business that I'm involved in, I bring that same obsession into every minute detail because little things matter. When students really embrace the power of this lesson, it changes their lives. Here are a few examples. Blair Bachman was a real estate investor, and instead of just telling people that he bought and sold houses, whenever he talked to a seller, right afterwards, he'd drive by their house and he'd leave them a handwritten personal account, a little letter on why he was in real estate to save families like his from being homeless when he was a child. Think about that. Every seller that you talk to, right after you talk to him, giving him a personal visit and then a letter. That's how he's able to work part-time and make over $3,000 a week. And I asked him how he did on the audio. If you've heard it, he said it himself. Little things matter. That little lesson. Another student, Carla Neal, told me that her dream was to play with dogs. She had a dog walking business, but it was struggling. And instead of just telling people that she could take care of pets, she went a little crazy. Little things matter. She'd research your specific breed, your family members, the people in your house, then she'd give you a list of all the best and safest pet toys, all the food and water nutrients that they should be getting, the best times to feed them, the best ways to pet them, the best other dogs and cats to play with, what kind of TV shows and music are best. You get the idea. She'd go crazy. Soon her clients wouldn't want her to just walk the dog when they were out of town. They wanted her to come over and play with the dogs while they were there, show them how to play with the dogs, and then just play with the dogs because you do it better than we do. And by setting play dates, she had several clients at one time. She became more of a caretaker, and this is how she was able to do over $500 a day just playing with cats and dogs. That's it. She said the same thing. From her lips, she said it herself. How was she able to do it? Little things matter. Getting crazy. Get crazy. And you don't even have to have a business. If you've had just a regular job, you can do the same thing. That's what Amina and Kelly did. First it was Amina, and then Kelly copied and did the exact same thing. MFM, the exact same process. They were both waitresses. Amina saw that their best clients, the biggest tippers, were reading similar magazines and articles. So she started preparing reading material for them for when they came in, and then scheduling get-togethers at the restaurant based on their mutual interests. Eventually, Millie turned this into a model where you go to local authors and journalists, you have them come in as guests on topics that your biggest spenders want to know about. And it's how Amina made an extra $1,000 a week and worked less than 2 hours a week. Worked less than 2 hours a week and made an extra $1,000 a week. How many waitresses are doing that? And Millie has made millions of dollars taking this idea and introducing it to other restaurants around the country. And now her and Amina and soon Kelly are doing this in Dubai right now, as I'm speaking right now. Little things matter. And it doesn't have to be money related at all. Several years after Sean's funeral, I heard from a guy who told me that he was one of the people that was being mentored by Sean. And when Sean died, he went into a deep depression and it got really crazy. But eventually he got his life together, and now he's a drug and substance abuse counselor in Minnesota. And on his desk, he has a wooden sign that reads, Little Things Matter. He always remembered that lesson that he learned from Sean and that I learned from my aunt. And this guy, the counselor, guess who it was? It was Kyle. Remember Kyle? He dropped off the face of the earth. He redeemed himself, and he's really changing lives. Our actions have ripple effects. Little things matter. Get crazy. Get emotionally invested into everything that you're doing. Make it matter. Little things matter. That's the point. What you do isn't determined by what you do. It's how you do it. The role that you play in the world isn't based on what you do or how somebody else would define your role. It always depends on the role that you choose to play. The way that you choose to look at what you do. Give your people the gift of obsession, of your caring, of your love. You can show them just how much little things matter. Then finally, remember this. Most people are so myopic and narrow-minded that they will shun any piece of education that challenges their limiting beliefs. Education closes weak minds and opens strong minds. The way that the same gust of air suppresses a match but spreads a fire. Don't be a match. WeBuildEmpires.com. get trained. Get yourself trained. If applications are being accepted, you need to be all over it like one of our gas station employees on crack. Also, to my friend Greg and my good friend Sean, please keep them in your prayers. And Sean, wherever you are, brother, if you hear this, God bless you. May God be with you. I'm carrying our torch. Our story lives on, God willing. And you were my NWA. All right, everybody, until next time, thanks again. Thanks for everything, and God bless.